I left my wife of 7 years who had been having an affair for a year. I had left, she pleaded and begged me to return. I came back. After a day she went cold and said she didn't think she loved me or that she loved both of us. So I left. She freaked out the next day, threatening to kill herself without me, so I came back again. A few days go by and we talk. She says she feels guilty and thinks she ruined everything and proceeds to try and swallow her 3-month supply of antidepressants. I had to use all my strength to get it from her. We talk and she's happy again. Yesterday I went to dinner with my dad, and call her at work at midnight lunch, and she's crying saying she thought I left for good, that if I wasn't home when she got off that she would kill herself. I told her it'd be here. In the morning we went out for Chipotle and did chores. I took an hour-ish nap, and when I woke up she was cold and distant. We talked and she said she was on the fence, that she didn't think she loved me. I told her I'm done, so I called my dad and started packing. I also called her mom. She came over and I explained everything. She's going to try and get her to stay at her place. I'm on my way to my dad's now. I'm only doing an update because so many of you commented before that I should go, but I didn't want go listen, and some of you wanted updates. Thank you all for your time. I might not use this account anymore. I don't want to hurt anymore. I really love her. Redditor's reactions update after. Redditor 1. Next time she threatens to hurt herself, call 911. They will send someone to check on her. If she's deemed a threat to herself, she will be taken to the nearest psych ward for assessment and possibly an involuntary 72-hour psych hold. Redditor follow up. This. Stop going back. It's not doing either of you any good. You can't continue to play into whatever the hell's going on with her. You need to think about yourself and how you are going to heal and move on. What happens to her with her isn't your responsibility, it isn't your fault, it's not your problem. I understand you may not want to cut complete contact with her at this time, but you need to severely limit how she can contact you. Block her on socials, don't answer her calls, only communicate through text message. That way if she starts threatening to harm herself again, you can call 911 and have that text message to back up your claim. Redditor 2, I hope you find some peace. Please don't let someone abuse you with yo-yo emotions and threats of suicide. It's cruel. If she does it again, call the police and let them handle it. Redditor 3, she figured out your weak point already, and although there could be a bit of truth to her thoughts, her consistent manipulation triggered time over time shows she's just locking you in. This will eventually get much worse over time. Get her professional help, relinquish liability and move on. The longer you stay, the longer it will take to heal. Update, my wife of 7 years had an affair for a year. I left 2 nights ago. Last night she overdosed on antidepressants. I've made 2 posts in relationship advice for a summer of before the last couple days if y'all care, but last night my phone died. When I finally could charge it at about 1 a.m. my phone was blown up, including a video message. She was overdosing and Gad driven to the town and trying to find me. She said she wanted my face to be the last thing she saw. She was close, parked and passed out in her car at a McDonald's. Me and my dad rushed her to the ER. I stayed by her side all night until today when she was transferred, where she will be isolated for 3+ days minimum. She gets 1 10-minute phone call and 1 1-hour visit a day from 530-630 with full COVID restriction fuckery. All night she pleaded and begged for me to come back. I had already come back twice in the last couple weeks. Each time after a day or 2 she would give me the cold shoulder and tell me she doesn't love me, that she loves the other guy. Each time she wouldn't threaten to kill herself if I didn't come back, but it just repeated. I love you. I don't love you. I love him. I love you. If you leave or stay gone, I'll end it. I don't love you. I'm numb right now. The last couple weeks I've been numb about 2/3 the time, and the other 1/3 when I'm alone I'm a howling sobbing mess. Small update. I just wanted to thank every last one of you for your support and DMs. It really does mean a lot to me and I've read each and every one. For the time being I'm staying in my dad's living room, which is a few blocks over from the hospital she's being kept at. She uses her 1 call a day for me, and her 1 allowed visit a day will be me while she's in here. I know I should follow all of your advice. I wish I could, but I have to see this through for myself as much as it hurts. I know it means nothing to anyone, let alone her, that we're married, let alone the vows or the years. But it matters to me. She's my best friend. Redditor's reaction story 2 after. Redditor 1, you aren't responsible for another person's actions or for the inevitable consequences of their bad behavior. Redditor 2, but she wasn't overdosing when she was cheating. Redditor 3, when you're careless with other people, you bring ruin upon yourself. She did this to herself. She needs to take her ass to the doctor by herself, just like she cheated on you all by herself. I'm sorry for what she put you through and what she is continuing to do. Story 2, Vape, it happened to me too. Surprise, surprise, here I am. I caught my wife of 4 years in a simple lie that turned out to be a big ol' fuckathon with some dude named Sean. It was supposed to be a girls' weekend. Her friend who has a bunch of roommates needed a chill weekend, so they got a local Airbnb. Things got weird when I noticed she had filled up our Honda Civic with gas the same night she left and asked me to fill it up the next morning. She came home to see our daughter and myself. The Airbnb was 20 minutes from our house. Turns out, she was with her girlfriends, but she went and picked up Sean from a city 2 hours away to have time with him for 72 hours. I woke up in the middle of the night a week later with a gut feeling, checked her phone, found all the graphic texts and photos, and turns out it wasn't just a one-time deal. It wasn't a mistake, it was planned and calculated. Life is wild. Redditor's reaction story 3 after. Redditor 1, I've been there, done that. Sorry op. It sucks. Redditor 2, if she drove 2 hours just to go and get him, it wasn't a mistake anyway. Op answer, right. Planned and calculated. That's why it's so easy for me to be done. She can say what she wants, but I know she's full of it at this point. Who knows what I don't know at this point. Redditor 3, get a lawyer. 4 years is a very short time, not worth suffering over it for the rest of your life. Redditor follow up, no, I spent 20 years with a scumbucket and it's still worth being done with. Odo, I still get plenty of entertainment musing over what events were real and what was gaslighting. Story 3, wife withholding identity of AP. My wife went out with friends about December 17th. Her male cousin and a friend met up with them at the bar. She ended up having a one-night stand with the friend, went over to one of her friend's houses and spent the night with him, returning home in the morning. She confessed once she came home. We are trying to work on things and have been in counseling 1-2 times a week. I do want to work things out, but am struggling with knowing who the person was. I know it's her cousin's friend and that's about it. It's really bothering me that I don't know who is partially responsible for ruining my life and family. My wife doesn't want to tell me because she is concerned that if I confront him or see him it would become physical. Am I crazy for wanting to know this info? I just want to know, I can't put my finger on it. I'm comparing myself every day to someone I don't even know. To me it feels like, not saying it's true, but I feel like it's more secretive than I am comfortable with at this point. Redditor's reaction story 4 after. Redditor 1, I feel like if you are staying together then she needs to be completely open and honest and trust you. If you were breaking up then she could keep secrets. Redditor follow up, no trust, no honesty, no marriage. If she won't give you what you need to heal and move on, there is no point in trying to continue this. Redditor 2, if she doesn't tell you whom her AP is you need to stop counseling and file for divorce. She broke your marriage and only she can fix it. I really hope that you've contacted an attorney and that you've developed an exit strategy that protects you. Redditor follow up, and dime her out to her whole family, tell them her cousin helped her cheat. Redditor 3, in my honest opinion, she is protecting the AP. She is placing his needs above yours. You can try to reconcile, but there is zero chance it will ultimately be successful. Op answer, that's really how it feels. I'm glad I am not the only one who sees it that way. Story 4, my M23 girlfriend F22 is ending our 3-year relationship because she thinks if we get more attached and get married then our kids will have a lot of anxiety. Both of us have anxiety. She has been taking meds to treat it for the past 2 years. I've never taken meds but I cope with my anxiety through yoga. She worries that we'd have an unstable relationship if we're both anxious. She constantly says who will be the rock in the relationship if we are both having an anxiety panic attack, and I agree with her to an extent, but I also think we can grow together and overcome this if it has been working for 3 years. I also agree with her about her view of not wanting to reproduce kids with messed up genes, as she would call it. We had talked about that from the start of our relationship too. I don't want to sound like a victim, but I've been going through a lot these past 2 years, especially with coming back home from college and living with an abusive father, as well as my mom going through a divorce with him. I also have been studying delaying my MCAT exam for the past year because I wasn't scoring in the range I want to be, but was set to take it in May. It is stressful and I don't understand why she didn't wait a couple more months to break up with me. It's not like that time span would get us more attached. Speaking about attachment, we are both virgins and never even had time with each other. She kept leading me on to be so attached, which I guess is more of a good thing, but it really hurts me knowing she won't be taking away my virginity. I really wanted to grow with her and have a future together. How do I cope with this? I know time will heal it, but it's just a matter of how long. Thank you everyone in advance. Edit, she broke up with me through the phone. It goes to show that she wasn't strong enough to do this in person. Her reason for breaking up with me is it's not you, it's me. I don't see that as a valid reason, and it seems like an excuse that she told me. After 3 years and she is still not comfortable with telling me how she feels. Also, fun fact, my family and her family immigrated to America from Iran in the 1980s. My maternal grandparents got engaged at her paternal great-uncle's house in the 1960s. My grandpa told me he was business partners with her great-uncle. So I sort of felt a connection of destiny faith. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, hold it, she's been leading you on for 2 years with no intention of having time because she's afraid of having kids who are anxious? Bro, this girl is not stable enough for a relationship. She needs a lot more help than she's getting. Anxiety to this degree is a phobia. If I were you, I'd cut your losses and focus on that test. She's telling you she's not cut out for this. She's right, dude. Let her go get herself right and just do you for a while. Redditor follow up. I know it hurts right now, but you are being given a huge gift. She is freeing you from her craziness. You can now take all that weight you were carrying from being with her with no benefit to you and use it to crush the MCAT and get into med school. After you become a doctor, the dating pool will open up a bit, to say the least. Good luck, buddy. Redditor 2, it sounds like she needs to get herself help first. She won't have a successful relationship that way. What would she do? Go on Tinder and put an ad out for guys without anxiety? I think she needs to just focus on getting herself better first. Redditor 3, she constantly says who will be the rock in the relationship if we are both having an anxiety panic attack, and I agree with her to an extent, but I also think we can grow together and overcome this if it has been working for 3 years. A couple of things here stand out to me as major landmines. This is not meant to deter you, rather give you some perspective and some ideas to work on. Healthy relationships can only happen between two healthy people. This notion of who will be the rock is a trap. Is she suggesting that you both find people who don't have anxiety so they can be your rocks? I've been the rock in a relationship and it's way too much to ask of a person. You both need to work towards becoming rocks yourself, if I may continue to teeter this analogy. What are you guys doing to manage your anxiety as individuals? Yoga is great, but not always something you can do in the moment. You can make this work, but you need to get healthy for the sake of yourself, your partner, and your relationship. I would suggest individual therapy for you both. Second, just because it's been working for the last couple of years, doesn't mean that you're marriage material. Relationships are easy in your 20s, but a lot fall apart under stress because people commit before they've encountered any. I think being able to solve problems together is the most important skill for a couple, so I wouldn't even think about marriage until you're over 25 and you've overcome some real adversity together. If you're going to work out long term, you'll need to continually improve your coping skills so that you can approach stress and adversity constructively. All in all, slow down and just be a young happy couple. Why rush? Answer, I had told her this before. We both go to therapy. I got to a therapist weekly and she sees a psychiatrist every once in a while, monthly more or less. She told me that my therapist isn't helping me and is a detriment and to stop going to focus on my MCAT. That really upset me. Last week she told me that she is going to talk to her psychiatrist about if two people can have generalized anxiety disorder and be together, as well as how would that affect their kids' genes. I sort of think that her psychiatrist might have pushed her or made a factor in her decision, because here we are a week later. Also, I can't read minds and I hate to say it, but I think she thinks I'm getting nowhere in life for delaying my MCAT. I'm not ready, and it's not like I already took it and did poorly for her to think that way. Now that I think about it, her mom married someone who was not very successful, and her mother is the breadwinner of the family while her dad doesn't really work. I feel as if her growing up and seeing this made her even more upset, and she fears the same will happen to her because I haven't taken my MCAT yet. But then again, does she like me for who I am or for my profession?